Okay, alumni spotlight today. Looking forward to talking with Eric Wenzler today. Eric graduated or came to ONU in 2006, was a pharmacy major, so he's here for 6 years, of course, and ended up playing 5 years of football because of an injury his sophomore year. So we'll talk about that a little bit later. But Eric had a phenomenal career for us. Was a great student, great player. Started 37 games in his career. Started toward the end of his freshman year, kind of evolved from a special teams guy to a nickel as a corner, then to becoming a starting corner, and then came back from the injury and was really part of us kind of going from a little bit of a struggle in 2008 to getting back on track to playing really good football in 2009 and 10. But great to have you here today, Eric, from Springboro High School.
Sir.
Tell everybody that, just kind of fill everybody in kind of what you're up to these days.
Sure. Yeah. So thanks for having me. It's good to talk to you. I did pharmacy school. So I graduated pharmacy school in 2012, and then I went to Ohio State University, Wexner Medical Center, did my residency, 2 years of residency there in infectious diseases. And then I came to University of Illinois at Chicago, where I am now. I'm in my office now. I'm working. And so I did 3 years of fellowship here, infectious disease, nerdy stuff. And then I took a faculty position here about in July of 2017. So it's been like 3 years, right? Almost.
Dr. Wenzler.
Yeah. So now my job is mostly not very pharmacy related. I do 80% of my time is research. So I have a lab that I run where we study antibiotics against resistant bacteria. We do a lot of clinical trials in the hospital. I teach, do a lot of like precepting of students, and I have my own fellows, and it's grown pretty big. We have a huge team. So it's been fun. It's fun to have trainees, kind of like players, I guess, everywhere.
Yeah,
so
no doubt. You got different people that are a couple years younger than you. Some that are grad school, some that are, younger. It's exciting. I know a couple of weeks ago, I had to call you to get your opinion on some things with the COVID situation. So you gave me some good insights and things to think about. Why don't you show the office real quick? Show the camera real quick. What's on your wall?
All right, I'll see if I can flip this around. So I got my ONU jerseys framed there.
There we go.
You can see the orange one and the black one, both from my two senior years. So I've got two pictures under there when I was a senior twice. So there's some funny faces in there, some old guys in there, but all good memories. So it's fun to walk in and look at, except Southwick's on there. He's got his ugly face, but the rest of them, it's fun. It's fun to look at those pictures and reminisce and stuff. So,
well, that's one of the things I think about when I think about you is, you're 2009. It was your fourth year of school. You had medical red shirt you could use, but the plan with pharmacy was you probably weren't going to use it. It's kind of what you and I had talked about. And just because year 5 in pharmacy is really, really tough, as anybody at ONU knows. And we had a great season, 2009. The season's over. We think we have a great chance to make the playoffs, and we ended up being the highest ranked team to not make the playoffs. So we were the very next team. We had a meeting. They put the teams up that are on the board. They're in the playoffs. And we're not in. And I was devastated, honestly.
Yeah, I remember it like yesterday.
We walk out of the room, though. As soon as we walk out of the room, and probably the thing that picked my spirits up right away is you said,
I'm coming back.
Well, I'm glad you made that. I'm glad you made that decision, because it was awful fun to have that chance to coach that one more year, and that was definitely a fun year. Let's talk about some of the memories. Actually, no. First, let's talk about recruiting process. Let's talk about that first. Take us through the old recruiting process back in 2005-06.
Yeah. Like I told you, I did my homework. I knew what you were going to ask me before you did. Have that specific memory, but what I do remember is, I knew I wanted to play, right? And D3 was probably the best fit for me. I was looking at Dayton a little bit, but I probably wasn't quite good enough, and it was too close to home. And so I think we visited every D3 school in the freaking country. Hope, Kenyon, Denison. We went everywhere, and beautiful campuses, right? All of them had nice programs, and I don't actually remember how Northern, what I will say is I think I was actually going to call my dad, but my dad was kind of the one spearheading it. He made my highlight tapes, and, he really was very instrumental in the whole process. And I don't know if he sent it to you guys or how that happened, but somehow we got hooked up. And, I remember this feeling too, is it's the same I had when I picked my residency. It was the very last school I visited. Northern was. It was late. It was like January or something. And as soon as I stepped on campus, it just felt right.
Yeah.
I think when you have that gut feeling and you can't put your finger on why, that's always the right
Yeah.
decision. And
Sure.
that's just what I felt. And a lot of the guys talk about, being in the middle of nowhere. I'm like, I'm from Ohio. I'm used to cornfields
Sure.
and cold. And so that stuff didn't
Sure.
bother me. It just,
Yeah.
the atmosphere felt right. All of you talking with all of you guys, it just clicked. And,
Sure.
I'm, like I said, when I said I'm coming back, because I don't usually wait too long to decide. So I was like, all right, well, that's where I'm going. So yeah, it was a little bit serendipitous, but it just thank God it worked out, and we took that last visit. And
no doubt. Well, it's one of those things. Sometimes I like to say it's hard to describe, but it's easy to feel.
Yep.
And
Exactly.
we're sure glad that you did feel that way. So
Yeah.
let's talk about some football memories now. I have some, from my end, remembering you, but why don't you talk about a couple of those? And I know we have a few, so we'll try to go.
Yeah.
Possible.
Yeah. No, I was like, how long do we have? I gotta keep it short. I think I'll say a couple things. Is just the guys, obviously. Richards and Cruzen and Bodo Bowman, living with those guys, living with Josh Warren. Just meeting all the guys, that was a blast. That's the biggest thing I'll take away from it. They're all still very, very good friends of mine. We had a bachelor party recently of 3 guys, and there was about 30, 35 of us all together, all from, we haven't seen each other.
I know. I was invited. It's probably a good thing I couldn't make it, because
yeah, probably
hang with that crew right there.
Yeah, that was it was like a reunion. It was like almost our 10-year reunion plus a bachelor party, so we had a lot of reasons to celebrate. So just that was great. Dre was there, everybody was there. It was awesome. But the biggest thing I'll say is the trips: Germany, Italy. I was fortunate enough to be able to go to Mexico, but those were life-changing experiences for me. And when I went to Germany, I was 18 at the time, and everybody knows I had a good time there. But at the time, you don't really, it was just fun going to Germany with 80 of my friends, playing a little bit of football. But I look back on it, and just having that experience, I get to travel a lot now for my job, and it just it definitely changes your life and your perspective. And I think the game and what you guys provided gave a lot more to me than I ever did to it, and so that was a big part of that. So I think
this just triggered 2 memories that I have to mention.
Okay.
First one, the Italy trip, 2010, and when our first trip, Germany was very bad. It was like 80-0.
Yeah.
So remember, we had some what we called Italy rules that we're not allowed to get it. I told you guys you were not allowed to get an interception.
Yeah.
So I think it was JJ or somebody or Hank or somebody knocked down a clear interception. And then about 3 plays later, they scored a touchdown.
Yeah.
And I think we were up by 50-0. And you livid.
You
livid on the sideline at me. We had interception. Why didn't you let us intercept? I'm like, we busted a coverage, pal. How about
we did. Click busted the coverage. I remember. Yeah.
I remember that. And you were mad at me. And it was the only time in my life as a competitor that I actually laughed when we gave up a touchdown.
Yeah.
It was, whatever, 50-something. The thing I have to mention, and I know we talked about this before, but when I think about the competitor you were, one of the many things I loved about you as a player is just a tremendous competitor. We're in Mexico, the All-Star game. You're there, Jesse, Kyle, and I'm a coach on offense.
Yeah.
In practice, we're using our offense, Ohio Northern offense, and Kyle's our quarterback, of course, and I'm signaling to Kyle. And what'd you do?
Stole the signals because you didn't.
Stole the signals in practice. Yeah. Who steals the signals in practice of an All-Star game?
People that want to win. Yeah.
Eric wants, but it's your own team in an All-Star game.
Well, remember, we almost got that. We got hurt too, trying to block a extra point in practice. Yeah.
I love it. Absolutely.
That was the other big thing. I haven't mentioned too. I have to is the coaches, right? I mean, Stacy, definitely changed my life, and that was such a great fit. Talk about a competitor. So many memories of him, punching me in the face, and just he that was his expectation. And Schweitzel, I think about you guys a lot, and so that was a big part of my experience too. Is the
Berg game a little bit, but you want to talk some more about that, maybe? Some on the field memories.
Yeah, I mean, man. Yeah, the Whitburn game has to be close to number 1. I mean, home playoff game, right? We missed it the year before. I was coming back from an injury, finishing out the season, my last year. I knew it would be, I'd never play again probably. and they were a good team, or they were supposed to be. And we just beat the brakes off of them. And not only that, but it was a defensive game, right? We had 7 interceptions, home crowd going crazy. I've watched the other guys talk about beating Mount, and a lot of their comments were how well prepared they were, and that there was no question whether they were going to win. And I felt that same thing. And me, I was always definitely a student of the game. That was kind of my forte. I was never strongest or the fast. I might have been the strongest for a little while, but until Clint got there. But I was never, the most gifted athlete, but I was usually the smartest, and so so I studied a lot, right? I think we wore that cowboy thing out in Coach Harrison's office, me and Richards did, and so seeing that stuff kind of pay off is always nice, right? Big interception after we turned it over, just from studying film. I knew what, I guess, like you always said, the answers before they even know the questions, right? I knew what he was going to run, and made it happen. And so it was a lot of fun, right? Seeing Marv and everybody, Vince get a pick, and it was just a blast. Probably one of the best on-field memories for sure. I loved beating John Carroll and Baldwin Wallace. They were just always tough competitors. They had good wide receivers. Frank Ross, I remember beating him and getting to talk trash to him at the All-Star game.
North Central, your junior year, that was a huge win, beating those guys your junior year. But that Wittenberg game, let's talk about 2 things that happened specifically in the Wittenberg game. One was first quarter, backside of trips. You knew what route they're going to run. You jumped a route. It was a backside slant. You jumped it. You got a pick, got a short field. We scored. So that was – I was very excited for you because I knew again, you knew what was going to happen when you saw the formation and the splits and all that stuff. But then later in the game, things are getting a little out of control, and we're up maybe 37-7, I think, or somewhere in that ballpark. And they are getting ready to take the field at the beginning of a series. And like most teams, the offense huddles. Yeah. Made the mistake as the offense huddled before the series started to be basically on the line of scrimmage. Yeah. You decided that you were going to get in their huddle.
Yeah, and listen.
Walked into the huddle. I've never seen this before. There's a picture. It was amazing. You're in their huddle before they take the field.
Yeah.
They, if I remember correctly, they're like, get out of here. Like, no, you're on my side of the line of scrimmage.
Yeah.
Get out of here. And they're talking to the refs. You're like, no, I'm not going anywhere. I am on my side of the line of scrimmage. Yeah. Really, they flustered. And that might have been when they got the 7th interception. So that
Yeah, I talked to, I got to be good friends with a couple of those North Central guys. Right? We played them so many times, and in the playoffs, Steve Lavick especially was one of the little receivers. And I shared that picture with you, and my dad found it. I'm clearly on our line of scrimmage, and you can see even all them pointing. It was pretty good. That was definitely just fun, right? The thing I loved about Northern and playing there is D3 football. Everybody's there because they love the game, right? Yeah. And we definitely all love the game. We love playing it, and it was just a blast. It was. It kind of sucked when we lost, but luckily we didn't do that very often. And so I just remember it's just fun. That's what I think about is playing some good football and having some fun.
Well, we could go on and on, but we better probably wrap it up right here. I just want to let you – very proud of you, what you did for us in the program, what you continue to do, and just your career. And we're excited to continue to watch your success and proud of you. Love you, your family. Your dad's always passed on a few recruits every now and then to me as well. Stayed. He's been great as well. So we're proud of you and appreciate everything you've done. All right.
Thank you. I appreciate it and love you guys too. And now that cruising's back, we'll definitely be